Aha. Aha. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right, collective. All right, collective. Okay, 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 okay. So here we are. This is actually a love reading. So if you're not interested in a love reading, I mean, that's what I got. That's the energy I got leading all the way up to this. So if you're not here for a love reading, then I won't head out. And throw up the deuces and be gone. All right, so what is there to know? I need to get some different decks too. What is there to know? What's the general energy of the two? Ooh, both of them are inspired with one by one another right now. Maybe more so the masculine is inspired by divine feminine, but I don't think that it works. Like one, I don't think one works without the other. This is a love reading. Maybe I should put that in there too. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. It's like there's this whole desire for change and satisfaction and what he's wanting. You know what I mean? Just this really heavy energy of like, I don't know, this carnal, innate kind of energy that just knows what he wants. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. And he also understands how how like the union and the connection to the heart chakra and stuff like that, like how that actually works in his favor. So it's definitely divine masculine understanding how having that heart chakra being open to love. Well, this is the thing too. It came by surprise to both. I want to say divine masculine and divine feminine both. It came by surprise to both of them. Like I don't think either one of them were expecting to fall in love. Um, it's like that song came on earlier, and I was like, oh, that is the energy. That one song, I think I want to say her name is Deborah Cox. It's like, how did you get here? Nobody was supposed to be here. And I feel like that was the situation, but at the same time, it's like they both kind of knew they were using each other, or I don't want to say using. Well, no, I think that everybody wants to be used. I don't think that people want to be misused. That's the thing that I think people don't want. People don't want to be misused. So, but this doesn't look like the energy of someone who feels as though they're going to be misused. You know what I mean? It was the King of Cups to the what? To the Chariot, to the Game, to the Three of Pentacles. So this investment, smart. So there's some divine masculines who are like, I haven't had this and that and the other. How do I know a divine feminine for real, for real? Like when I take her out and blah, blah, blah. She's very respectful. She's not, she's very respectful. That's the first sign. So when there's some disrespect, it's not a divine being. And I don't mean tone, because tone is sometimes hard to change right away. I mean in just general nature and like how the person treats other people, if they treat other people well, you know what I mean? There is an essence too. There's a smell. I'm just gonna be honest. There's definitely a smell. Spirit said it smells like success. I'm weak. I guess it would, huh? I guess it would. I think it smells like nothing. I feel like there's an absence of smell, of odor. It just smells good. Like new cars smell good, and like new stuff smells good. It's just like that. It's not, all crazy or anything like that. All right, I'm supposed to take them the way they pushed out. You can rewind the video later and figure out how they got into my hand, but they're into my hand and that's what I'm supposed to take. So it's definitely Wheel of Fortune. Okay, and right now we're talking about in a relationship. So that just means that like there's always going to be this essence and energy of like them giving to one another. in all ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, like all of that. They're always going to be giving to each other. They're always going to be, committed and focused on trying to please one another on an everyday basis. There is general love going and flowing. And that's also what makes it difficult for other people to come in between it too. Is because there's a concerted effort between the two to remain in the right vibration. Wow. These cards look unanimous. Like they look incredible. Straight out the gate, I asked for general energy of the two. This was, this way, but it was definitely going forward. So in the upright position. The next card was the Chariot. Just want to make sure we're clear as to like what I'm looking at in front of me as far as cards. There we go. I put them there. Okay. There's not a lot of mistake in this. This is what? 10 of Cups. So that's giving a very like abundant, like you'll be able to give what you need to all areas of your life too. Like you're not going to miss out on being able to be there for the people that you want to be there for either. Neither one of you. Like I don't feel like there's anybody that you have to worry about like cutting out of your life. And I feel like there's just going to be a lot of room for the right things, And then in addition to that, there's going to be a lot of like new relationships or old ones, maybe like with friends. I feel like a lot of like getting together and like having like those real good old fashioned times together with like friends and their children and your children and, that type of energy, like stuff going back to like how it was with like old school in like the 80s and 90s when togetherness was just what it was all about, right? I get that energy is coming back, but there's this whole disruption that's taking place right now so that people can actually appreciate that. These next two cards that fell out, oh my gosh. Look. Can we talk about this? The High Priestess and the Justice card. And intuitively, intuitively you've been guided, intuitively, you're walking the path. Some people may even say, I almost feel like everything behind you felt like a tunnel, like you were in these tunnels, just imagine, if you will, you had to find your way through the tunnel, as a child, even because a lot of inner child work has to be done, just anything and everything as far as relationship work from the time, from the big age that you are now all the way back in order to really heal. And whoever discounts that, that's on them. Those are probably the people who don't want to address something that's somewhere, whatever relationship it comes from, because it doesn't necessarily have to come from, a parent or, a sibling or a lover or, it could come from anywhere, the relationship, it could come from an old boss too, how a former employer treated you, Anyway, I keep saying, but anywho. So it's kind of like walking through that tunnel, going through the tunnel and then coming back through the tunnels all on your own, as a child. Why do I keep saying, And then being able to see your way straight to this celebration, which is where I feel like you're at now. So you went through it like this, having to follow your intuition and just know. You had to just know. You just had to know. You had to know what was right, what was wrong. Right? I'm not lying. You had to figure it out. No one was there to guide you, to hold your hand. No one came to save you. And then there's this justice, right? And I feel like this justice started back when you started your healing process, right? And it's been built up over time. So over the course of time, you got all these different things in addition to just receiving justice, as far as like no longer being, subject to whatever it is that anybody else wanted to leave on your lap or throw on your plate, etc., or, do behind your back or whatever. There's a heavy energy too, like everybody wants to know what you're working on. Everybody wants to know what it is that you've been so diligently, like sitting steadfastly focused on. I think it's funny. It's almost hilarious to me. Um, some people are super angry about it too because the gnats I've been seeing lately, one of them is red. There was a white one, and then there's like the super tiny black one. So I feel like it's people who like know they shouldn't be paying attention and trying to figure out what you're doing, but they're still doing it. So they're like, well, I've only been on this collectives page once this week. I only went on there, 3 times this weekend. I didn't go there, as soon as I woke up on Sunday. It's that kind of, and I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. Look, it's a very potent energy, and they know that whatever you're working on, because you're so diligent about it, it's got to be something big. Like this has to be really big. They're right. Mucho, mucho. I need to learn how to say learn in Spanish so I can say think big. Can I cuss in Spanish on here? Better think about that, huh? Anywho, maybe this is kind of where everybody thinks you're headed to. Now, if you're masculine, maybe they feel like you're going towards this Empress energy that people have become aware of because that's what the Sun card is for. Or if you're a feminine, it's like maybe they feel like it's something that you thought up when you were in the Empress energy. And what I know is that you're actually doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then something that you thought about from like way back when that you actually just got like double, triple, quadruple confirmation on, because you get messages every day. I also feel like that's the energy for the couples. Like it's you're learning something new every day. 13, 9 o'clock. You're learning something new every day. You're being enlightened every day. So you sit in this energy every time you give yourself a moment to take the time to think and say, okay, how can I focus? Where can I focus this, this energy at? When you're not thinking about each other, right? Which I think is super cute. Maybe that's also kind of like put your minds to rest about like where things are coming from, like what's the reason for this or that or the other, Ooh, okay, so these are here. Let's get a different deck now. I have so many. Give me a second. I have so many. Tienes mucho. Tienes mucho. These are pretty spicy. So I'm not going to be able to show them to you. But I will tell you all about them. I feel like Divine Feminine is really enjoying the quick moment and the things that like she can focus on. The intimate moments between the two, she's really quite possibly a little overwhelmed. You see how my voice changed and stuff? Yeah. Not overwhelmed in a bad way, but overwhelmed in a good way. Like, I'm really excited about this and I can't wait. And, the energy is like mounting. It's just, I don't know. It feels super delicious. To be perfectly honest, it feels like a really delicious energy. Like this is, yeah, there we go. I can kind of show you that one. Yeah, there's no actual like nude body parts showing in this one, but this is the depiction of what I'm getting. Like that, they in the kitchen, look at the pots. Yep, told you. It's delicious. It's also nutritious. And I feel like Divine Masculine, let me check this card out too, because it'd be having stuff. Divine Masculine might sit up late at night too, kind of spilling a little ink. Where's the spilled ink? There we go. Spill a little ink out for Divine Feminine. See, that's why people don't realize like they have really imprinted on one another. They know if the other is, when they're away from each other, they know when the other person is, by themselves thinking about the times that they've been together. They maybe even have talked about or discussed or, places that they would go together to do things. And they, fantasize about doing that together as a way to kind of keep sacred spaces between the two of them. Which I think is a brilliant idea, because if it's not a space that anybody else would know other than the two, then It's like, how would somebody guess this? Wait, let me make sure. Okay, gotta cover up. How would somebody guess this place in the middle of the woods? You know what I mean? It's giving. I'm telling you. Sorry, I was cooking. So my fingernails. Ooh. Actually, that's probably hair gel. Now that I think about it. I feel like they've been very well versed in the ways to actually make each other like physically aroused and feel appreciated and like admired, and um let's see, they enjoy spending a lot of time, like, maybe even afterwards or before, like just being with each other and kind of like with a lot of skin available for, skin to skin contact, if you will. No pun intended, but I definitely see that here. Like they like being able to, you know, touch on each other's bodies. See, I'll show you. Here's another one. It's very reminiscent of like when they, oops, that was a nip slip. But look, it's reminiscent of like, I guess, like the time when they first met, when they first started encountering one another, is what I'm getting from this picture. Like when he first came and kind of rescued Divine Feminine from, you know, everything that was going on. And then now this is like the truth about the reality is like they both enjoy all of the same things. You know what I mean? There's an equal give and take in every area of their relationship. That's just how the two are built. It's not like somebody's, studied the other to become the right thing for the other person. It's like, no, they have studied each other with the intent of pleasing one another. But I get the energy that both of them do that for no matter who they're with. Like Divine Masculine studies the women. He's a woman studier. That's why all the guys like him. He knows how to study what a woman likes and stuff. Knows, how to get the ladies, right? Um, but that's also a reason why he's, so intent about what he wants with Divine Feminine. And then Divine Feminine has studied, how to appropriately, give and receive love with a man, so that she can continue to be, the bearer of all of his love, that he has in return, all of the, the studying. So she can, that's the whole part about these relationships too, that keeps Divine Masculine constantly like looking and wanting and, needing even Divine Feminine, is for that special place, and vice versa. There's an equal, like very strong, very deep need and desire for the other person. And that's because these things can't be fulfilled with other people. That's just the truth of the matter. Um, yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of people, it doesn't, yeah, it's like I knew that was the Seven Cups. It's like, even if there were a million other, oh, that's so beautiful. Even if there were a million other people, they would wait forever for each other, like the turtle. They would literally wait for each other. At this point in the game, they would literally wait eternity. They know that they've done it before too. That's a part of it, but they don't have to this time. And that's because they chose to do all of that healing work. They chose to actually heal and understand, who, what, when, where, why, how, etc., about all these different, people, places, and things in their lives to be able to heal themselves properly. Yeah. And I feel like Divine Masculine saw Divine Feminine initially when she first started healing, and then he understands like what he contributes to her as a whole human being, right? And so that's why he's really, I'm getting that from, can I show this? Her cakes are a little bit bare, but that's what he gets, like that's what he enjoys about the whole environment with her, because there's always this little bit of a chase, because she's always a bit mysterious, because she really knows how to mind her own business even when she's in a relationship, and that's what makes her constantly attracting him. That's the mysteriousness of her, is that when a woman stops being codependent and becomes Not independent of the matter of like, oh, I can own my own this and I bought my all that. And no, in the fact of like emotionally, the codependent word, like you don't need the friends, you don't need the this, you don't need, you don't need any of that. You just know how to enjoy life, right? And because of that type of energy, um, you're not needy, you're not afraid either. You're not in this energy of like, oh, you don't, it's very hard to mimic, it's very hard to speak of too, because there's all these different things too that certain people want, um but not everybody can feel too. You know what I mean? Because while there's a divine feminine, they're not for everybody. Yeah, see? Because there are some people who want, women who are able to carry on in this energy. And that's not necessarily a divine feminine that we're talking about right now. If there's someone who's in a throuple, that's their business. As long as everybody in the relationship is being, treated as though they want to be. And essentially, I think there's a lot of healing that they should make sure. I mean, I think that's the biggest part of it. When you heal, you also understand like the dynamics a little bit more, and it's not for, this thing or that thing or the other. Because in all honesty, there was a period of time, maybe, oh gosh, maybe, how long ago was that? Maybe 5 years ago now? Yeah. 2020, yeah, about 5 years ago, where I was like contemplating if I thought I needed two husbands. I wasn't finding one guy that I felt like could really be like a really good husband, and I knew where I was going, and I knew what I was getting ready to do next. Yada da da da. And I arrived very quickly at just taking the day to ponder it. Even everybody was so mad at me, and I'm like, I think you should think about things instead of just assuming that one way is right or not. You know what I mean? Because then you never take the time to think about it, right? But anyway, but I realized like, no, because I would never want to put someone in a position to feel like I'm with somebody else. That's the whole like beauty of this freedom of the love that I'm talking about here in these divine partnerships, with the joint ventures. That's the whole beauty of these things, is the fact that you are free to love just this one person in this way without having to worry about disease or cheating or this or that or the other, this person doing something, to hurt you or to manipulate the situation, or, I don't know what people do, but I've heard about it. I've, been subject to it. Most of it just seems like people who are selfish and stupid, liars and cheaters are just liars and cheaters, right? Doesn't matter who you are, you're bound to run into them, right? Seems like that's the big thing that everybody's been dealing with in these relationships. Yeah. And what makes so many people, like, oh, I don't want to settle down, I don't want to be with somebody, because that's the truth of the matter. Is like, realistically, when people decide, oh, I don't want to be with anybody, it's because they've been hurt so many times, they've just kind of given up on the idea of finding someone. And so they're like, okay, I'll settle for looking at it from this perspective. It's a very compartmentalized energy, which again, compartmentalization helps a lot. But when it comes to being emotionally mature, I should say, compartmentalizing, it gets in the way of that. It gets in the way of love. And if you're really looking to be balanced and not just kind of getting by, because compartmentalizing is for, just dealing with what it is, right? Oh yeah, that's this, that goes over there. Oh yes, that's this. Love is a very free energy, and it's an action word too. So that's how also you can tell if the person loves you or if you love the person. Their actions, because actions don't cost money. They can if you want them to, but they don't have to. Actions are, the things that continually motivate you to love somebody on an everyday basis. I'm just being honest. But if you know how to give that to yourself, that's why it's, the whole healing and making sure that you're completely healed before you get into a relationship, so that you can actually be able to have someone that also has healed themselves and is able to love you at the same caliber. Because you cannot love anybody more than you've already loved yourself. That's just my personal opinion. I cannot give more love to anybody outside of where I've already given it to myself. And that's just the more you love yourself, the more you can love someone else. That's also part of it too, because you got to do all this self-love all the way back through your lifetime in order to be in the right position for unions like these. While the love relationships are the same, the responsibilities of the unions can be different. I just want that to be said. Yeah. The expectation of getting these types of relationships later in the game is different. That's why some people have been recently like energetically encountered by past people that were sent to probably create an illusion, like, oh yeah, I'm ready to leave my person, or I'm ready to do right this time, or whatever it is. But being able to get out of that illusion and continue forward, and remember the situations for what they were. Like I was saying earlier today, like, if it didn't work, it didn't work. There's no right person, wrong time. No. Right person, right time. Because when you're ready, so is your person. Right? Or did we just forget? We keep saying that, but we want to use it, so that we can placate ourselves with all those other things that I put before it, But in reality, it's like, no, when you're ready, your person appears too. After you've taken the time to be diligent and focused, etc., etc., etc. Even if maybe you're focused on a person that you have in mind, or the idea of a person, or someone that you've met, encountered while you started your process, but you couldn't really engage even because you knew that you had more work to do before you could even be ready for a real relationship. Because let's be honest, you knew when you weren't ready. You saw the emotions and the things that you did and the things that you got wrong and how you responded to stuff and blah, 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 blah. So healing all of that was absolutely positively necessary, even if it did take a century and was tiring. It was supposed to. It was supposed to. Because taking that century-long movement is what got this gap, is what put the distance between you and other people, and your person and other people, with respect to how you two relate to one another, and whether or not you're deserving of each other and ready for each other, and if anybody else could take your place kind of energy. That's just, it's not an option. You guys are too hot for each other. It's the emotions for the other people are so far away, if you will. There's this gap between who you are and what you want, and who they are and what you want, and who your new person is and what you want. It's all about what you want. That's the clear purpose. It's what you want. It's what you want. Isn't this what you want? This is what you want. Clear purpose, progress, motivation. It's what you demanded from the universe, right? What'd you demand from the universe? Happiness? A happiness that, like, you wouldn't sleep on, right? That's also entirely something you told yourself. Like, I'm not going to sleep on the next opportunity. The next time something comes around and I can move forward, 30:03 on the clock, I'm going to move forward and figure it out. The enterprising spirit. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I feel like that's exactly where you're at too. And that's what makes you, ready for an upright relationships. Ooh, so that's what everybody is like focused on. This is so awesome. Okay. I think I'm going to get all my love. I kind of cleaned up because there was something happening in here that required me to clean up the decks. And so they're all high up above here, kind of stacked on one another, so I can't see them right away. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, let's look at this. Ooh, these are too racy too. Okay. Gosh, I gotta get some more love cards that aren't so naked. can look at these. That's what I was looking for anyway. Spirit baby messages. And if you aren't planning on having any children with your person, then this is about businesses. But to be perfectly honest, this is real babies. These are real babies coming in. They're ancestors. And I did not put the ones from the previous reading back in yet. So these are all going to be different. The way you love me has been the treat of my life. This is awesome. Don't you think? Feeling like it's the treat of a lifetime kind of energy. Your level of freaky is just right. I got that download earlier today. It's like they're both like really kinky, divine masculine and divine feminine, but their kink is like perfect. It's like they like it and they love it. It's both. Daddy didn't know how much he loved kisses until he got them from you. Are you in there doing that sometimes too when I see people, other people, and I'm like, how do they be kissing? They like kissing those lips. Daddy finally knew what life was missing when he found you. So it feels like somebody may have had everything. You know, this person may have had, you know, the good career, the stable career, you know, any type of woman that they wanted. They had the friends, they had the family life, you know, with, you know, brothers and sisters or whatever, or maybe cousins and, or, you know, best friends. They had all of those things, right? You know, all of those things, but they haven't had like a solid woman. They haven't had like a solid person that they could really, you know, do life with. But that's what he found. That's what he figured out was missing too. Maybe he felt like, oh, I have everything. I've explored everything. So you know, I've got it all. You know, sometimes people can feel like that too. Like I said, that's very much the place that I was in prior to now. It was just kind of like, no, I can sleep with any guy I want to. Like I can get anybody I want to. I wasn't really concerned about like finding love at a certain point. But even though I knew I wanted it, but I was just kind of trying to like pacify myself in the fact that I wasn't finding people that were capable of, you know, being honest and true, you know, in a relationship. So. But it was because I was also not ready, right? So there's that part. We have to take ownership too, right? Which entitles us to be ready for an actual relationship. But Daddy feels like you knew each other before you ever met. It's like you guys, like you have all these thoughts of one another and telepathy. Comes maybe even through that tantric, because I think I'm saying it right, that tantric sex. That's the telepathy. Like that's where it started probably. Especially if you guys like designated a place where you were going to say is your place and you meet up there, you know, astral projecting. So you can see her shapes and curves. It says, I love your shapes and curves. And I like that you don't tell me no. That's divine masculine. And that brings him a lot of peace. It says, my peace. Yeah. It definitely does. Most of mommy's cravings are to be close and near daddy. He smells so good. Ooh, I was somewhere the other day and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot like how wonderful it is to be around, you know, a man. I think, a man with like cologne on, and it was somebody, I think in the store, something, it walked by and some cologne I'd never smelled before, but it was nice. Yeah, I think I was out getting like my morning coffee or something like that on my walk. Yeah, that's where it was. It was super early too, you know, and a lot of men, if they get up super early, they be suited and booted and bred clean and, you know, the machine ready to go. So it says your mind makes me want to get NAKED. So it's like the way that you guys think. And that's why I said they enjoy spending time together, like, you know, partially nude, if not all the way nude, you know, just amongst one another doing things, you know, in the, you know, boxers and t-shirt or whatever, wife beater. Just hanging out, you know, jammies all day on the weekends kind of energy. When you don't have like things to do, like especially if it's rainy and like, I don't know, but it's winter time. So that's what I'm thinking about. But you make daddy excited when you get excited. I knew it though. It's like this, you guys turn each other on and you guys are very much sapiosexuals. So it's like the minds, you know, the fact that you guys could find things to talk about forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. every lifetime there's something different you guys start to enjoy about each other, know, or, you know, do or talk. It felt like it was on back on me. That's why I jumped. So I was like, trying to get it. The passion is so intense. Yeah, see? They can feel each other no matter where they are. Divine Masculine likes Divine Feminine's toes. She has some really sexy toes. It's almost like, ooh, it's salivating. He really likes your toes. I've never had anyone as experienced as you. Ooh, that fell out of my hand. Like, yeah, Divine Masculine is a lot to handle physically I can't talk. And it's probably because he stays in this kind of energy, right? It's like, can go and 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 go. You ready to go? That's where he be ready to go too. Like if you ever tell him I'm ready to go, okay. He just assumes like I'm getting some because we're leaving. It's that kind of energy. You always know exactly how to relieve all of daddy's stress, and he doesn't know how you do it, but he loves it. Because I feel like it's not only like in like the physical way, even though that's one of his favorite ways, but like you know how to like you know what kind of foods to kick him and like things to do to like make him happy, or you know little things to just like you thought about me like that, and yeah, you know, because you think about him all the time. I don't think that Divine Masculine knows that. Like I think they talk about how much Divine Masculine loves you, but it's kind of necessary because they feel like, you know, or understand that women can fall in love a lot quicker, or women love the idea of love and we're just, you know, lovies, you know. But yeah, like it's not easy for anybody that's been hurt a lot to love. But in this instance, when it happens, you know, it's kind of one of the greatest things, you know, that you can receive, you know, and that's why Divine Masculine sees Divine Feminine as a gift, as he should. That's also why, you know, this came out, like the clear purpose and progress and motivation and the demand from you at this point, you know, for both. And they know that because I feel like it's been, you know, a little push and pull for each of them, because Divine Feminine knows that she can do whatever she wants to. She doesn't have to wait for anybody. She can do this, this, and this. But Divine Feminine also knows it's like, okay, I can do anything and I'm going to continue to do things, but I do have to accept the fact that I can do a lot more with my person, or my person can do a lot more for me, just in the sense of loving you in a way that you haven't been loved. And Divine Masculine, vice versa. See how that works? So that's the value in one another. Love that can't be matched by anyone else and hasn't. All right, I hope this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.